I'd like to spend some time talking about what happens next. His death, what exactly his death was like, and why is it that we didn't have this gigantic Holy Roman Empire that contained France and much of Italy and Germany that, reigned for 1,000 years? Why didn't we have a 1,000-year Reich? Why did it have to split up like it did? Why didn't Charlemagne have all of this taken care of, Charles?
Well, he thought he did, because you see, one of the problems with the Franks was the tendency to have all the brothers rule equally. And in the Merovingian days, this had led to civil war after civil war, because they would argue over this or that piece of land. As we saw, Charlemagne had the initial problem with his brother Coulombe, who eventually resigned, went to a monastery, so that was the end of him. But Charlemagne was very cognizant of this problem in the Frankish DNA, if you will. Well, he left his empire to one son, his oldest surviving son, Louis the Pious. And so Louis, he dies in 814. Now, very holy death, well attended, much mourned. The first several years, Louis the Pious continues, but things are happening. The Viking raids start, for one thing. And that begins to raise a lot of trouble because, unlike the previous enemies that they had faced, who were all land-based powers, as they were themselves, the Vikings could show up anywhere. They could go up rivers. They were horrible. So that was one problem that really began to take place not too long after Charlemagne died. But Louis the Pious married twice. He had two sons by his first wife, and Lothair, and actually three: Pepin, Lothair, and Louis the German, so-called later. Pepin was the oldest. He would have succeeded, but he died. And then, if that weren't bad enough, Louis the Pious remarries after his first wife dies, has a son named Charles by her, and being the youngest, he's sort of his father's favorite. And worse yet, he's a half-brother. So he decides that he'd already decided when Pepin was alive to divide things up amongst his sons. He decides he's going to alter that to include Charles. Well, the other boys don't like that, so there's a big civil war. And it goes on and on and on. Finally, it ends. Treaty of Verdun, I think it is, 840 AD, it comes to an end, and they make a deal. Charles the Bald, as he's called, gets France. Louis the German gets Germany. And then the central area and Italy and the title of emperor go to Lothair. Now, initially, just like the two sons of Theodosius, they act in concert. But as the 800s and 900s progress, if progress could be the word I use for it, the things break down. The Magyars come from out of the east. The Muslims, again, begin raiding. It becomes a very, very difficult time. The imperial title, Lothair, who interestingly enough will give his name to Lorraine, because Lothair, Lothringen, Lorraine. He will basically see his central area divided, and all his son will inherit is northern Italy, which he has a hard time holding on to. Eventually, the imperial title gets tossed back and forth between Italian chieftains. There's chaos everywhere, and out of this chaos will emerge what we call feudalism. As the various counts and dukes who had been appointed by Charlemagne, and to a degree by Louis, became purely hereditary.
This leads me to a couple questions, Charles, and I'm sure our audience is thinking of it too. So we'll have on a map how this, so people can visualize here on the screen, the split. And usually on the map, it's labeled something like West Francia or Francia, East Francia, which contains much of Germany, and then that middle portion, which I've seen called a number of different things. They'll call it
Lotharingia.
Yeah, Lotharingia. Yeah, exactly. Now, what I think comes to many people's minds is that this is the birth of what we now think of as France and Germany. My first question is, well, especially in the West and the East, are there distinct cultures on the micro level? If you go to these different villages, if you go to these different, beginning to take shape as cities, are there different cultures substantially in the West and the East, despite these being run by the Franks? Maybe we can start there. Is there a distinct divide between Germans and French at this point in time with this treaty and with this split?
Hey there, thanks for watching. If you want to see the full video, you're going to have to go to pelicanplus.com and sign up for our groundbreaking, truly Catholic platform. You can find your favorite podcasts. You can find your favorite prayers. You can find your favorite authors and even your favorite books. Visit pelicanplus.com and find out more.